Hi, we're going to go ahead and get started now, and today's session is being recorded. Hi everyone, thank you for joining us this morning to hear more about new software features that we've recently released and about others that we're going to be releasing in the upcoming months. We also want to make sure everyone is aware of what support resources are available, and we hope all of this increases your efficiencies during this field season. I'm Linda Glover, the GIS Sales and Services Manager here at Frontier, and I'm the team lead for our GIS Services, Software Development, and Water Resources Department. I'm your main sales contact for the Mosquito Control Solutions. My colleague and co-presenter today is Chad Montier, and Chad is the Software Solutions Manager and has earned his GISP certificate. We have increased the software mosquito control portfolio in many ways this last year, and Chad's really excited to share the news about the new improvements. We won't be stopping for questions. However, please list your questions in the questions section of the GoToWebinar window. The questions will go into a spreadsheet, and then right after the webinar, we'll answer the questions in that spreadsheet and then email them out to you later today. I'm going to spend a little time first on some product overviews and also some overviews about our support resources. And then I'll turn the time over to Chad, and he'll go over the recent updates and product roadmap information for both our FieldSeeker core software for the larva sighting, surveillance, and service request, as well as the Windows ULV adult sighting software. And then I'll take the presentation back over, and I've got information on the weather sensor and some new retrofit kits and mobile devices that we have available, a little bit of information on the public notification app, and we do have some Part 107 drone training scheduled this month as well. Just a little bit about, where we've come from and to the, what's gotten us to the point we are today. Many of you on the call today are our current Sentinel users, and we did release Sentinel in 2007, and it is based on the Esri ArcGIS desktop software and the ArcPad on the mobile devices. And as you know, Esri has announced end of life on ArcPad starting December 31st, 2020. So consequently, we have announced retiring Sentinel on December 31st, 2020 as well. So we've been working hard on the new FieldSeeker release that Chad's going to show you more about later as the migration path for our current Sentinel users. And then we released the first version of FieldSeeker back in 2012, and this version of FieldSeeker is based on the ArcGIS Enterprise or server system platform. And then we have a native iOS app that we use for the mobile data collection. And we are also retiring this software December 31st, 2019. And the upgrade path for our the current FieldSeeker customers is the new FieldSeeker platform that is based on the ArcGIS online platform. And we do have a cross-platform mobile app. And then we have a standalone Windows ULV application, as well as a new public notification app. So our new portfolio, our current portfolio looks like this. So this is the FieldSeeker that's based on the Esri ArcGIS online subscriptions. So it is a cloud-based system, and it consists of the Office web app and a cross-platform mobile app. So with the cross-platform capability, you can use iOS, Android, or Windows 10 devices. We support workflows for larva sighting with storm drain treatments, surveillance, and service requests with this software suite. Then if you want to do Windows ULV adult sighting for your truck spraying activities, you can add on this separate standalone module, or maybe you just want to do truck spraying, you can just purchase the Windows ULV adult sighting extension and not use the FieldSeeker core part. But this is a standalone desktop system, and it's based on OpenGIS technology, so it does not require any ESRI licensing, and it is built for Windows 10 devices because we have to have a 9-pin serial port connect to the current sprayers on the market to record the output from those. And then this last fall, we did release the new public notification app, which is a separate add-on to the FieldSeeker core system. And it basically consists of an agency web app and also a free public mobile app. And so this gets branded with the agency's logo and just provides a different way to communicate with the public. And I've got some slides later in the presentation that'll get a little bit deeper dive on that. So if you haven't got to meet our support team, I just wanted to help put some names to the faces. We're all very dedicated to your success. And I'm your main sales contact. Chad is our product manager and spends a lot of time, making sure the software has all the features and does everything that you all ask it to do. Tyler and Chris McCabe are our lead technical support agents. So when you email or call in, you're more than likely going to talk to them first. Mike Clarenbeek and Tom Simmons support us as far as drone sales and services go. And then we have a whole dedicated software team just for code development. I did want to spend a little time to make sure everybody knows how to contact us. When you do purchase software from us, we do have required annual maintenance and support. And you do have a lot of benefits provided through this. We do have a formalized help desk system here. And so when you enter a support ticket, it comes back into that system. And then we have a goal to respond to you within 2 hours, Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. Mountain Time, except holidays. And we have different ways that you can contact us to enter a support ticket into our system. Hopefully, if you have already been using our support portal, you can bookmark this link and just go directly to it to enter a ticket and to check status and things, and I'll show you it specifically here in a minute. Or you can also go out to our website and this link here, and there's a form that you can populate and it'll open a ticket. And there's also a chat icon out there so that if you want to chat with us, you can do that. And what happens there is if the support agents are online, you can hit that chat and submit your question, and they'll chat back with you. If nobody's online, if you hit submit, it will open a case and somebody will be in touch, when they do come online. You can also enter this specific email address and email your support question, and it will open a ticket. And then you can also call our number here, and you'll have to leave a voicemail, a detailed voicemail, and then that goes into our support system. And then also part of the annual support and maintenance, you do not only receive unlimited technical support, but also unlimited remote assistance and web training. So, if you need some orientations about different parts of the software or something, don't hesitate to ask, and we'll be happy to set a webinar up with you and your staff and provide that. We still give on-site training, but we do charge for it. It's $1,500 a day plus travel expenses, and we're happy to schedule that as you like. And then we'll also provide all the software updates so you get all the new feature enhancements and bug fixes as we go along. So I just wanted to escape out of this and go over to our system here and just show you a few of those ways to get open a support ticket. This is our website. If you go out to frontierprecision.com and hit the Mosquito product link here, and you're going to come in at the top of the page and you can click on this technical support information, and basically all that does is take you down to the bottom of the page, and you'll see support information there too. But then if you click the support request button, it's going to go to a form, and then you can just enter your information there and a brief description about what you need help with, and hit the submit button. And if you notice, let's see, I wanted to go back over here and show you here. If down here when you're on this page, this is what that chat icon looks like. So if you want to chat, you can just click that. So no matter which way you enter support ticket with us, you're going to get an email from the system that looks like this. And it will have your ticket ID information in it, and then this link here. And so when you click this link, this takes you into our help desk system. And so then the system will look like this. And what it'll do is ask you to log in with your username and password. So if you haven't yet, make sure you set up an account within our help desk system, because there's a lot of advantages here in this area. So not only can you check the status of your ticket that you just entered, but you can go here and submit a ticket and fill out the form. But the really nice thing is this knowledge base. So Chad and Tyler and Chris have spent a lot of time putting tech support information out here, and we've built a lot of new instructional videos here on topics, and we'll keep increasing, this content out here. And so please take advantage of it, and make sure that your staff knows about it so they can also take advantage of it. But it's broken out into mobile and desktop. So that's kind of it in a nutshell, and I'll go ahead and turn the presenter over to Chad, and he can dive into all the new things that we have to show.
Sounds good, Linda. Thank you. So I'll make sure I'm showing the right screen. Can you see the presentation, or are you seeing the blue screen? Let's see. It's all right. Let's see what people are seeing here.
There we go. Now I see it.
Okay. I think I just had it in the wrong page. So I'm just going to verify what people are seeing. Sorry.
Yeah, I think you've got it now.
Okay. So let's start just with a real high-level view of what we call FieldSeeker Core. We'll talk about recent updates and where we're at with all of our projects in connection with it, and what's on our roadmap. We talked about some of these things recently at AMCA, but a lot of you don't go to the AMCA meeting, and so we wanted to make sure and share some of that same information here. When we mention FieldSeeker Core, we're really talking about that new ArcGIS online-based system that Linda described. Basically an all-in-one mobile app that runs on all the different platforms, iOS, Android, and Windows, and then an Office app that's a JavaScript app that you can run from any browser. We've mentioned some of the benefits over the last 6 months or so as we've had our other webinar series. I won't spend a lot of time on the fine points here, but the main thing is that that new FieldSeeker app does have a lot of benefits over old apps. And we're experiencing a lot of great feedback from the customers who are using it and from the other customers who have been also testing it. What I wanted to spend a little bit of time talking about is our recent enhancements on FieldSeeker Core. So we have the mobile app now on all app stores. It was recently released to the Apple Store also. It's on the Google Play Store and the Microsoft Store for Windows 10. So if you search for FieldSeeker Mosquito, you'll find the FieldSeeker Mosquito CPMA, which is cross-platform mobile app. So install that app and basically log in with your ArcGIS Online account and select the FieldSeeker map and data when you first log in, and you'll be into the system. We help set that up and deploy it when you convert from older FieldSeeker or from Sentinel, or if you're doing testing. What we've been working on recently is quality improvements and customer feedback. So we have a lot of people using the new system throughout this winter and into the spring. So we've had 5 mobile updates since January. We're updating about every 2 weeks. We've got our next update scheduled next Friday, April 12th. And on the web app, we've been releasing an update about once every month. And again, the focus right now is on quality improvements and bug fixes in response to customer feedback. We're being very transparent about what we're working on. So if you go to the release notes, we've sent out some emails with these release notes as well. It shows each build that we come out with, what the enhancements or improvements are. We're also keeping a list here of known issues as people report them. So as you're using the new apps, we want to make sure that we capture anything that you're finding that is an issue. And if you're finding an issue, it's good for you to be able to know whether that's something we already know about or whether it's something new, and make sure you report that. So we're working with all of the different customers we have to make sure we stay on top of that. But we're very transparent about this. We want you to know what we're working on and what we've fixed recently. So that'll be the focus for the next several weeks. The first part of this field season will be just making the apps, especially the mobile app, as solid as possible. And as more people use it with more historical data, we find certain things that we need to improve on. Some of these things are minor, and some other things are more important. So we're prioritizing those fixes and working on that. As far as upcoming enhancements, we want to share a little bit about our product roadmap for the FieldSeeker Core as well. So after we really clear our backlog of quality improvements and bug fixes, we do have some pretty major enhancements planned for this Q2, Q3 timeframe. And some of these will get released as they're finished, and some of them will probably get released as we won't release big new features that will disrupt your field season. So some of these are basically kind of add-on components or add-on workflows. We aren't going to be making major changes in core workflows while you're in the middle of your field season, but we will be working on some things that are kind of around the periphery of these or new workflows. So what are these major enhancements that we'll be working on? We will be building an AgNav data import. So some of our customers have either have aircraft or they contract out aerial treatment, and one of the brands of aerial treatment systems that both guides and the pilot and records data is AgNav. So the data that AgNav creates is something that we can import. So we will have an AgNav data import in the FieldSeeker Office side of things. I'll briefly mention these others, and then I'll spend a little bit more time talking about the CalServe Gateway in particular. But we're also planning to make FieldSeeker compatible with ArcGIS Enterprise, with Portal for ArcGIS. So up until now, everything we've been working on has been ArcGIS Online based, and some of our customers have IT and GIS resources in their organization, and they prefer to have all of the data on premise and stored in their own ArcGIS Enterprise system. And so Portal for ArcGIS is basically like ArcGIS Online, only in your local environment. And so some of our customers prefer going that route. We are going to make FieldSeeker compatible with Portal as well. So in addition to being able to use ArcGIS Online, those customers who do have ArcGIS Enterprise will be able to use FieldSeeker within their enterprise environment. So we'll be working on that. A major effort will be compatibility with the CalServe gateway, and I'll talk more about that, like I said, in the next slide. So let's mention this last one. We're also going to be working on support for wetlands management data collection tools. That'll be mostly mobile and a little bit in office. So some of our mosquito control customers, particularly some of the mosquito control projects in Massachusetts, do some wetlands management as part of their abatement, and they have certain things that they want to track for activities there. So we're going to support being able to collect that kind of data in FieldSeeker. Let's talk a little bit more about the CalServe gateway. So the CalServe gateway is a state data system used in California for surveillance as well as site and treatment information, but it primarily started with surveillance information, trap data, and dead birds and other samples that are tested. So our FieldSeeker data model actually was built to mimic or to be just as close to the CalServe data model as possible. So if you've used the FieldSeeker surveillance tools or the lab tools in the past and you're familiar with CalServe, then a lot of the things are very similar. What we're going to be building, though, is some integrations so that we can sync data from FieldSeeker to the gateway and vice versa. And those customers that use the gateway have, a login to that system, but there's also data interchange, available through that system. So we're planning to make that something that we build into FieldSeeker to be able to sync that data from FieldSeeker to the gateway and vice versa. We want to prevent data double entry. Now, one thing that we have learned in the past 6 months to a year is that this CalServe system is also, or the gateway system is also being used or going to be used in the state of Utah as well as the state of New Jersey. So our intention here is to build a set of tools that allow you to take the data that you collect in FieldSeeker that you can report on and visualize there, and also contribute that data or push that data to the state data system where it may be required or where there may be other visualization tools, and basically get the best out of both systems. So that's something that we'll be working on, and it's a pretty major effort. We have been working with the customers that use these systems to make sure that we understand the requirements, and we'll be continuing to work with them so that we can get this right. I did want to mention some other enhancements that are maybe more minor but are still important, and some of these are based on our feedback from our customers thus far. So a number of minor enhancements that are planned in the upcoming months as well. In the office side of things, there's a few things that are planned, just improvements to the usability of the attribute table and its behavior, improvements to the adult trapping data entry when you're putting in species counts, and also tweaks and improvements to the query and filter tools in the Office app. So we've had some specific feedback from customers that would help improve some of those things. And on the mobile side, a good portion of our FieldSeeker users are using offline data workflows, and we're planning to implement something that Esri calls the pre-planned offline workflow. And just in short, what this means is that it makes it possible to use different base maps in the offline data, as well as be able to zoom farther in on the base map. And it should also improve the amount of time that it takes to download those offline areas. As more people have used that offline workflow, we're finding that the data download is taking a very long time, and there's been some other things that have been identified and issues with those, with some of that offline workflow. So this pre-planned workflow, the Esri pre-planned offline workflow, gives us some capabilities that we currently don't have. So that will be an enhancement that will help that workflow be more user-friendly. A couple more things on the mobile side. Improving the display of the history data lists. So if you go into a site and look at the history, right now the information that's displayed is pretty minimal. Basically, it just shows like the date and who did it. So we can show more information than that on those lists that's more useful, and we've got some good feedback from customers on that. So that's something we're planning to implement. Also, enhancements to the work review, just improvements there. Similar idea, make it more, more useful in what it shows. Just UI polishing, improvement of the info and error messages. We've been focusing on fixing things that are more, mission critical or that are blocking workflows for customers. But certainly, we also know that there are various things in the UI or in the messages that could be improved and make the experience of the app more user-friendly. So those are some of the things we'll be working on. So that's kind of it on the core. We're not going to show a bunch of things on the core because a lot of the things are specific, minor issues and bug fixes. But if you do have questions about whether something you're seeing is something we know about, please contact us or consult that issue list and see if it's already on there. Let's switch directions a little bit, and we'll talk about the recent improvements to and planned upcoming improvements to the Windows ULV. So the truck spray tracking software, the FieldSeeker Windows ULV extension, is a two-part system, basically a Windows desktop office app, which does your reporting, configuration, and data operations, and then a mobile app for the drivers in the trucks to see where they're at on the map, record spray sessions, and have warnings for restricted areas. So this week we just released a brand new version and sent out an email announcement of that to our users. A couple of big new features that are finally in there. We have the ability now to push data to an Esri feature service, and we also have support for the NEWMOUNTAIN weather station, as well as a variety of other smaller things. A couple other new features. We made some changes to the spray session summary report, so it's grouped by zone now. And then we added support for importing spray routes from a single shape file, and we'll show some of these examples in a software demonstration so you can get an idea what we're talking about. A variety of other things have been either improved or fixed, a couple of bug fixes. One that I think people will be glad to know about, the mobile app will now keep Windows from turning the screen off or going into sleep mode. So that's been something some of our customers have reported. Maybe IT sets your Windows tablets up so that they time out after 10 minutes or they go to the lock screen after 10 minutes, and that's just the security policy for Windows devices. So anyway, now the mobile app will, as long as it's collecting data and the map's moving and stuff, it'll keep Windows from turning the screen off. So that's good. You may have also seen recent announcements from Esri about these TLS security changes for access to ArcGIS Online. So our FieldSeeker core app is not affected by that. It's already compatible with those changes. ArcGIS Online based systems and so on are already compatible. Nothing needs to change for those. In our ULV software, we do use one of the Esri base maps, so we've made the changes needed to be compliant with that TLS security change. So let's switch over and show some things in the software. And so what I want to kind of start with is some of the things on the ULV Office side of things. And so let's start with the Esri push to, push to Esri. So on the main map screen with the spray sessions, we now will see an item pushed to Esri, yes or no, and we see also a button here, push to Esri. So what are we talking about pushing to Esri? We're basically talking about this treatment area, this buffered 300-foot treatment area, and all the spray session information that's in it, driver, truck, sprayer, totals, etc., being pushed to the Esri feature service. So if I go into configuration, I now have this new item for Esri feature service push. And right now that's set up to be automatic. So if I go into configure, my choices are off, manual, or auto. So if I have it set to manual, then I would basically select the spray sessions out in the main map and push them to Esri. Just click the button to push them, and then they'll be marked as pushed. So then that workflow would work if you want to only push some data out to your feature service. The automatic will, as it sounds like, as soon as data comes in from the field and is processed, it will automatically push it to the Esri feature service. So overall, what's the point of this? Well, one of the points is that the truck spray tracking software can still be not requiring any Esri licensing, but if you're also using FieldSeeker Core and you want to be able to see the recent truck spray information with the rest of your operational data for your daytime larviciders or your surveillance crew, then you can configure this so that that spray session data is also pushed out to the map. The rest of the configuration basically has you log in to your ArcGIS Online portal, and when you log in, it'll have you select your web map, and in this case I pick a web map that is also used for the FieldSeeker Core, and then it's going to have you pick where your spray session data will go and where your treatment area data will go. Now this could also work if you don't have FieldSeeker Core and you just want to share some of your recent truck spray information out maybe on your public website using an Esri web map. That is another thing that this is intended to facilitate. So we configure it. Once it's configured, as soon as you transfer data and it's processed, then it gets pushed to Esri. And what that looks like, if we come out to the FieldSeeker Core app, for example, I'm just going to log into the Office app, go to the map, and when we go to the map, that treatment area layer is not turned on by default, but as soon as the map loads up, I'll turn it on, and then we can see what that data will look like. So it gets zoomed into part of the map here, go up to layers, turn on treatment area, and so we have these spray sessions that have been recorded, and if we've sprayed in this area more than once, then it's going to stack them on top of each other, so I may want to turn on the time slider. And with this time slider, we can set the date range. So if I want to set the date range to to a later date, it can just show just the spray sessions that I'm interested in. But this spray session that I click on here, this is the one that was done just a couple of days ago. And if I click on the treatment information, then it shows me that we used Duet and we sprayed so much of that and treated so many acres. So this information then is visible to the rest of the staff through the FieldSeeker Core app. Now, if I have a web map set up to share with the public, then as soon as that data is collected and processed, then that public web map would also reflect those changes. So that's the Esri feature service push. Let's talk about a couple of the other minor things in the Office app, and then we'll switch over and show a little bit about the weather station support. So one of the changes is just in the reports, the spray session summary. basically we now have it total up the spray sessions and group them by zone and then show the grand total. So that's been something that a lot of our customers have requested just for ease of reporting. So we made that change. Another change that we made was with respect to importing spray routes. So we did add the line-based spray route feature, a couple of versions ago. And some of our customers use these line-based spray routes to show where the driver should start and which direction they should drive, where they should end, where they should spray and where they shouldn't spray. But we've had some other customers that it's a little bit different for them. They don't care so much about where to start, which direction to drive, but they want to be able to show the spray on and spray off for these routes, and it might include driveways. So we made some changes in our configuration for spray routes. Let's see, if I go into the data operations and utilities, the previous functionality allowed us to import spray routes from multiple shapefiles. Every route was its own shapefile. Now we have support to import it from a single shapefile, and if we pick that shapefile, then it brings up a field matching, so we can specify which field has the spray route names in it and which field has the fog on and off value in it. So it's a little bit more flexible for those customers that are using the spray routes, the line-based spray routes. Okay, I want to talk about the weather station integration. So I'm going to bring up a screen video of the mobile app and talk about what that looks like on the mobile app. So we support direct connection with the NEWMOUNTAIN NM150 weather station in the mobile app. So the driver in the truck can connect up this truck-mounted weather station to the USB connection on the Mesa 2. We do have to install the drivers for that weather station on the device. But once the drivers are installed, then we configure the connection there to the weather station, and then you'll see this weather icon show up down in the lower right-hand corner. As you're driving around, it's going to show the wind speed, wind direction, and temperature. There's also a new option in the options menu to configure the weather station connection. So that's basically what's the COM port, and when you click test, it'll verify that it's reading data from the weather station. So it just shows that it's getting data. It shows wind direction, wind speed. Back on that main map, the weather icon will turn red if something gets disconnected. So if you unplug the cable or the weather station loses power, then you'll immediately see that the weather is not current. But otherwise, as long as the weather station is plugged in, it'll always show the weather information on this main panel. So display is constant. Now, if you go to create a spray session, you have some options when you create the spray session to also use that weather station. So when you create the spray session, there's a place right now to type in the wind speed, wind direction, and temperature. The new option then that you get now is to be able to read that data from the weather station. So you get this screen pop up here with the create spray session. So there's an option that's checked there to record average weather data from the spray session, or if you uncheck that, then you can just read weather data and it'll populate that data directly from the connected weather station. So the two options are read it from the weather station at the beginning of the session, or check the box. If you check the box, it clears that out because it'll just average out the wind speed, wind direction, and temperature for the whole session. While you're recording the spray session data, then you'll see your sprayer info as well as the weather info, and all of that's getting recorded into the data. So what gets recorded with every spray point is wind speed, wind direction, temperature, barometric pressure, and humidity. So if I come back to the Office app and we just go to this recent treatment log and click on one of the points, so it will show the weather information there: wind speed, wind direction, temperature, humidity, and pressure. The reports also show the weather information, so that weather information is coming from the weather station. So that kind of in a nutshell is the weather station support that we have built into ULV. So before I flip it back to Linda, let me just continue with one more slide about our upcoming enhancements that we have planned on the ULV software. So we're planning in our next release support for metric, as well as a color theme update, and then some other things that we're putting into the next release, or perhaps the one after it, but it will be it'll be this year. We're going to add a delete spray session option in the Office, doing some enhancements to the sketch treatment line and treatment area, just the data entry there to match better what people are using it for. We've had requests to be able to add an event point while in a spray session, as well as have the route auto-populate based on your GPS. So we'll add those couple of things in there. One of the big things that we'll be working on is supporting configurable warning sounds for different kinds of warnings. We've had some customers, several different ones, tell us that the no spray warning ought to be different from the warning if you lose connection to your sprayer, or if the restricted area that's nearby is not a no spray, but it's just an information warning, like a gate code or something, then it should give you a different kind of warning. So that seems like a good idea to make that more configurable, allow people to perhaps pick their own sounds and so on. So that's one of the things that we'll be working on. So we're excited to have some new releases. We're continuing to work hard on quality improvements. Please continue to keep up the great communication and help us to identify the issues in our new software so we can get them corrected. We're anxious to get all of those things corrected and then get on to exciting new enhancements. So with that, I will turn it back to Linda, and while she's talking, also review some of the questions or chat information that has come in. So Linda, I'll make you the presenter.
Thanks, Chad. Sure appreciate all your work. You know, the team's been working really hard, and just appreciate everything you guys are doing. Okay, so let me make sure. So it looks like you guys can see my screen. Okay. I just got a little bit of information about that new mountain weather station that Chad was talking about, that's now compatible with the new Windows ULV version 1.6 software. So it is a compact truck mountable sensor. And so then it does plug into our system and record wind speed, direction, temperature, barometric pressure, and relative humidity. Price range on it is $1,400 to $1,500, depending on what type of accessories and cable length that you purchase. And I've got a survey coming up at the end of the webinar, and if you want any further information or pricing information on anything that you're seeing today, you know, be sure to fill out that survey, and I'll get more information to you after the webinar. So we also have some new SmartFlow retrofit kits from Clark, and we can sell these through Frontier Precision. Basically, we've had some customers that have Adapco sprayers or other types of sprayers that don't have compatible data output with our Windows ULV software. So through this new SmartFlow retrofit kit, we can put this with your sprayer, and it will provide the 9-pin serial connection to the Mesa 2, and which gives the on-off sprayer control that outputs the speed, direction, and flow rate that we record with our Windows ULV software. We have 2 models. If your sprayer already has a FMI pump, it's the Fluid Metering Inc. brand pump on it, then we can get by with the $3,900 retrofit that provides the remote engine stop and a 14-pin assembly harness. Or if your sprayer doesn't already have that FMI pump, then we can use the other model that's about the $5,900 range that includes that pump assembly. So again, that survey will have it where if you want more information on this. We do provide the Mesa 2 Windows 10 tablet. It's a rugged tablet with the Windows ULV system. It's been very successful. We've had it out for about 3 field seasons. It's starting the 4th one here. We have about 550 units out to mosquito control, districts, public health departments, and they're performing very reliably. It does have the optional serial port that we need for the Windows ULV, and it has the reliable GPS that we need in that truck cab. And this is a nice unit too to use for larvicide and surveillance activities as well. Juniper Systems is based in Logan, Utah, and manufactures the Mesa 2 in the U.S., but they do have a line of consumer type devices that are ruggedized, and so they did release the new CP3 Android smartphone that's rugged and waterproof last fall. It's in there $799, and this spring they released the new CT8 rugged Android tablet, and it's in there at $999. A little bit more on our public notification tool. It is a separate add-on to our FieldSeeker core software, and we did it as a development project for the Florida Keys, but it is available for other agencies to brand and use within your organization. It basically facilitates communications to the constituents. It allows the public to receive information from the district or agency and enter service requests back to the agency. It helps the agency maintain transparency and gives another way to educate the public with frequent communication. And then it also is proven to cut the interaction with the agency. So instead of getting so many phone calls, it just provides another way for the public to be able to interact with you. It does consist of a web map, and so the agency uses it, to manage news and notifications. And also you can create status maps that you want pushed to the free public phone app. And then you can also maintain the subscriber list. When the public signs up, they subscribe, and you can manage that. So then if you're the public, you would go out to the iOS or Android store and download the free app, and then subscribe to receive the news and notifications. You can be able to enter service requests and then to view those that map information that's provided from the agency. Just a little bit on the drones. We are a DJI Enterprise dealer, and so we do have the DJI drones, but we also have larger drones too for different types of payloads, and our representatives for Del Air and micro drones. We get into various types of software to manage that point cloud information coming back to the GIS. We do have the certified pilots on staff, and we do conduct Part 107 and application training. We do have some Part 107 training scheduled. If you go out to thefrontier.com and go over to training and events, you can see what trainings we do have out there on a calendar. And so we do have a couple scheduled coming up here in Idaho, but there are some in, you know, Minneapolis, North Dakota, and South Dakota that as well. But these will be rotated around the U.S. So if you don't see something for your particular area, let us know, and they do on-site training as well. Over under the GoToWebinar screen, there is a handout tab. If you go over there, we do have some flyers posted there for the Jerome and Boise trainings. Those trainings are $395, and they basically prepare you to take the Part 107 test. And just to, you know, what we've talked about, the content that's out there on the website. Another important one is going over to the support tab in the Frontier blog. And if you go there, we do post regularly out there about the new things that are available on the mosquito control software. So you can subscribe to receive notifications when, you know, there's new articles out there. And we're, you know, trying to make sure we're consistent with the content. So this information's out on the knowledge base through the support portal as well. But the blog is available to the general public, where the support portal is more or less for our users. So, you know, please enter your questions into the question section of the GoToWebinar window, and we'll email those answers to you soon. And if you want a private web demo for your group, or request new FAQs or get price quotes, please complete the survey form at the end of the webinar. And of course, you can contact Chad or me at any time. And I also wanted just to point out too, Clark is our exclusive sales representative. So you can let your local Clark rep know if you need something from us, and they'll get a hold of us, and we'll be in touch to help you. And we just really appreciate the use of our products, and we look forward to being of service. You know, just let us know what we can be doing for you. And we really appreciate your time today. So thank you, and just let us know how we can be of service.